let's look at the interim injunction itself, sir, which was issued by the court, restraining those members of the House of Assembly and others from parading themselves as members or conducting any legislative activities. How effective do you think such injunctions are in maintaining order within the legislative body, sir?
Well, this will take me to the entire debate about administration of justice in Nigeria. This time around, we are talking about the effect of restraining orders, whether interim or interlocutory. The wisdom in seeking and obtaining interim or interlocutory injunctions in judicial processes is to preserve the rest, what we call the rest, which is the subject matter of litigation. Don't forget, no injunction is just granted. Injunctions are granted on the basis of a live suit. In other words, you can't just go to court and say, give me injunction. No, it will be that application will be predicated on an existing case. You must have gone to court with a substantive suit. But for the purpose of arresting a particular situation, preserving the rest of a matter, you approach the court once more to say, pending the determination of the suit itself, may I be granted this injunction just so that the rest of this matter is not destroyed before the final determination of the matter. So, I know the question you have asked and what the answer is, but I want to remind you that the heads of so many courts, no less the Federal High Court, have on so many occasions, and I'm talking of the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, and in some occasions, the President of the Court of Appeal, superintending as tribunals, have come out clearly and admonished the judiciary, judicial officers, and judges in particular, to be extremely circumspect with respect to granting injunctions and interim orders, particularly with respect to political matters. The reason that is said so is that most often than not, politicians set up the judiciary in a way to undermine not just the integrity, but the efficacy of the judiciary. So what they do is that some engage in foreign shopping. So by the time the injunction is being granted here, there's another one sought by yet another party whom you may think is different, but they are working together. That leads to what we now hear so often about conflicting judgments, conflicting rulings. Now, that sends a very debilitating signal to the public, in the sense that I have always said that the notion of justice in the jurisprudence we studied, you know, jurisprudence is the science of the law. That notion of justice that you and I mouth all the time, it takes a flight, not at the point when you lose or win a case. The notion of justice evaporates when the public can no longer understand what is happening in the judiciary, either by way of conflicting judgment or by way of ridiculous. So, for that reason, judges have been admonished to remain very, in short, in most cases, what they do is to tell you to put the other party on notice, just so that the kind of chaos and confusion, conflicted confusion for that matter, are not created to the embarrassment of the judiciary.
So, in your perspective, do you think this injunction will succeed to ensure that order is maintained?
Injunction is not peculiar to Nigerian jurisprudence. Injunction is everywhere where you have legal system, where you have judicial operations. Injunction is a very important, equitable remedy to put in check what can possibly go wrong if it's allowed to happen. So if we are not getting it right here, all we need to do is to interrogate and look into our own system and find out what we're not doing rightly. Otherwise, it's a very potent aspect of our judicial process.
Let's look at the issue from a broader perspective. We've continued to see words between the current governor, Governor Fubara, as well as the former governor and now minister under the Tinubu regime, Nyesom Wike. And recently, Fubara had actually made a statement stating that he is going to investigate, as a matter of, set up an inquiry, a panel of inquiry into the governance of the state. In fact, he lambasted Tinubu's intervention at some point in time as being unconstitutional because the president actually intervened in the crisis. What impact do you feel that this court act, meaning injunction, will have on the political landscape of River State?
Well, it is a loaded question, but let me try to disaggregate it. First is to emphasize that it has become a bit convoluted in River State. It's also conflicted. But above all, I do know that Wike, former Governor Wike, is going to be a fantastic template for the impending war that has already started. In short, I intend to make that the title of my article. Wike, a perfect template for Fubara's impending war. I just started writing because I have an idea of what might likely happen. The same formula, the same template that Wike used to crowd Rotimi Amechi out of political existence is what Fubara will adopt in dealing with him. Now, he's not likely going to do that because he has the balls or the nerves to do that. He's going to do it because Wike, who ought to be a father figure now, has condescended so low and almost going to wipe out his legacy if he's not careful. And it's going to be so dirty because a Wike is only relevant when there are controversies. If there is peace, please mark my word. I used to joke with people around me here. I say, look, Trump should come and learn the rough edges of politics from the Fayoshes and the Wikes. When there are peace, these characters are not necessary. They are not relevant. So for Wike to continue to remain relevant, there must be crisis. Either in peace environment or in his new appointment, there must be crisis. Otherwise, there isn't any other way he understands how to do that. And that is what is going to escalate the whole matter. Up until just a few days ago, every watcher of the events in River State have seen that Fubara developed thick skin and has the disposition of accommodating so much, but he will unwittingly, he will continue to be probed into taking action. And that is where we are now. That for me is the impending war, which ironically has started. But Fubara will have no option other than to use the template that Wike set for Amechi. And it has started. How? You hear about the Commission of Inquiry. That was exactly what Governor Wike did. He came in May 2015. By June 2015, he has set up a commission, a judicial commission of inquiry pursuant to the inquiry law of River State. You heard just 2 days ago or yesterday that Fubara has appointed an attorney general. The first assignment of that attorney general is to superintend. When I say superintend, it's to see that this tribunal of inquiry is set up for the purpose of investigating the administration of Wike. And that is where the real battle will start. Now, the only difference Wike himself was the chief of staff under Rotimi Amechi. Fubara was the was the auditor general under Wike. And you know, this is a constitutional creation. By section 126 of the constitution of the country, an attorney general like the attorney general is a creation of the constitution. So you're going to have political crisis, constitutional crisis, but above all, it is going to be for the benefit of the River State people. How? So much will come out between the governor and the auditor general. That is the two principal offices that superintend the execution and disbursement of state funds. So, if Fubara cannot go the whole hog, except he reveals, either willingly or by compulsion, what he knows. There is an aspect of the law that interests me a great deal, and that is mandamus. Yes, we know that he enjoys immunity, but there are people around him who may not enjoy that immunity, and they may be compelled to reveal and document what is on record with respect to the time under review.
Finally, how do you envision a legal resolution to the crisis that respects the constitutional rights of all parties involved, while also restoring stability and democratic governance in River State?
Well, it's unfortunate that they have gone overboard. I think that, in fairness to President Tinubu, he saw it coming, thought in his wisdom that he could arrest it, knowing that when Wike is like a cannon fodder, a bull in the Chinese shop. Once triggered, you can't stop. Otherwise, if reasons were to prevail, the entire River State landscape should know that this war will blow no one any good wind, and needed to moderate it and put an end to it. And so you could see that whereas they started from the legal angle, that could not go far, because as the matters are in court, so that it's been escalated on the political scene. But I imagine that what must happen is that the cohesive forces of the country should be on the alert. I say this because River State is the epicenter, is the hub of militancy in the Niger Delta, where I come from. And the merchants of violence are around there, and they are all positioning. It will be in the interest of that state to have this matter resolved politically. But where it fails, the court should take charge. I know that it will be a Supreme Court matter. Let us all cooperate. If we're unable to see eye to eye because we're entrenched in our position, which is unfortunate, we should be able to allow the judiciary to handle the matter. And the issues are clear. What is the status of the legislators who have decamped? To what extent would you now say, in all political correctness, that the present, there's a factional speaker now who emerged as a speaker from the votes of 2 members. To what extent are you going to have that as the ideal legislature? Don't forget, the legislature is supposed to check the executive. What is the place of the elders in River State, political elders? How does all of these, how does it sit with the youths, many of whom have become impatient with a one-time hero. I'm talking of Wike, who is unable to manage the successes in quote that he made. I think that at the end of the day, what is very, very painful is that the people are alienated in all of this. You can imagine how an entire state has gone into flames because of the misunderstanding between two principal actors. And at the end of the day, you may be shocked that we'll be spending the next four years forth and back on account of this nonsense.